Okay, before I begin, the irony is not lost on me that the title of this video is called Discussing the Dangers of Ists and Isms, and another title you can see on the screen here is Distributist Musings. I'm not, I suppose, going to discuss that all ists and isms are wrong, and of course there are more than ists and isms. It's just a general term. Christian, Muslim, Hindu, pro-life. Those words aren't spelt with an ist or an ism, but it is an identity. Maybe a more correct term for this video should be the dangers of zealous monolithic identity, calling yourself an ist or an ism at the expense of another, without being open to dialogue, while not listening to others, while dismissing others because of being an ist or an ism. I came to this conclusion in doing research about distributism. I was looking at the Mondragon Corporation, and I found videos from socialists, from communists, from capitalists, from people calling themselves libertarian socialists, all praising the same thing and all calling it something of themselves. And I realized that many people in ists or isms might come to the same conclusion, might come to the same solutions, but dismiss that solution if it was called by another ist or ism. You see that in identitarian politics. People in the US dismiss Trump just because he's Trump, even if he says something good. Not saying everything he says is good or bad, I'm not getting into that. That goes for any country, any group. You'll find people who adhere to the ists or the isms zealously, without even understanding the term themselves. For instance, you have many so-called Catholic politicians who support abortion, and you cannot do that. You cannot be pro-choice and Catholic. Those two terms are mutually exclusive. To be Catholic is to be pro-life. And therein lies another danger. People will look for the best or the worst in their opponents. The best in themselves and those who adhere to their or similar ideologies. But any other ists or isms, you'll just look for the absolute worst, ignore all the good, and just focus on that one or two or maybe 20 bad things, and ascribe it to everyone who calls themselves that ist or ism. And that's really dangerous, because people aren't all one thing. It's like the joke, the Monty Python, yes, we're all individuals. We actually are all individuals. Every one of us has our own thoughts. We might be easily swayed by another person, but we are all individuals with a unique view on the world. We might adhere to an ist or an ism to help us get through the world. And as long as you don't attack someone without thought, without trying to see where they're coming from, as long as you have respect for others, there's no problem being an ist or an ism. There's no problem with being an identity. The danger is when you adhere to it so much that you shut yourself off from dialogue. You demonize others. That's where persecution comes from. There's also a danger in calling yourself an Easternism and being anything but. As part of my research, I found that many of the people who call themselves Catholics, many cardinals, many bishops, many priests, many of the so-called faithful who claim to be zealous Orthodox Catholics, were anything but. They were horrible, power-hungry, vile people. They used the Catholic Church for their own gain while completely contradicting the Catholic Church's teachings. There was a reaction to that, and persecution resulted. And the innocent, along with the guilty, were persecuted. Then, the people who identify the Easterism just saw the innocent being persecuted and ignoring the fact that there were a few vile animals in among the persecuted. And they reacted. And hence you have interreligious violence, hence you have interracial violence, hence you have inter-identity violence. That's the danger of the Easterism. There's nothing wrong with being proud of being an Ist or an ism, or being an ish, and someone who's Irish, English, American, Peruvian, Ecuadorian, Zimbabwean, Indian. There's nothing wrong with loving your country. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, the people around you. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when you dismiss others who are not that, for simply being not that, by ignoring the dignity in the other person. That's where the danger of the ist or ism comes. Okay, so I'm going to bring this video to an end. It may have been a bit rambling, but I hope it was a bit informative. It's going to color my research going forward, because I don't want to dismiss opposing ideologies to my own out of hand. I want to research reasons for why people have come to that conclusion, why people become communist, why people become libertarian, why people become capitalist, why people reject the isms or the ists or whatever it is they were born into. And it is important to look for the good. What can help you where your Easterism mightn't be as strong on. For me, the teachings of the Catholic Church are spot on. Its politics, that's another story. How to implement the faith, that's another story. And by looking at Easterisms, how things are implemented, how things went, how things interacted, how one can be an Easternism and not have it become dangerous. That is where I want to bring the research. That is why I'm going to do the idea of the world building, to play out where those ists and isms work and don't work, how they interact and what it means. What implementing one ist or ism, or should I say one monolithic zealous identity, would mean. how it affects others, and maybe how it could be implemented while bringing others along with them, without the need for violence and war, persecution. So I'll bring this video to an end. If you've made it all this way, thank you. If you've liked it, please hit the like button. If you didn't, well, hit the thumbs down. Please comment either way. Let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do, and help me along the way. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for listening, and God bless.